What's good, YouTube? It's your boy TK, and welcome back to TK Vids. Today is part 2, but this is I can't say part 2 of me just going through my subscriptions and just reacting to whatever video, I feel like watching through my subscriptions. I subscribe to a lot of YouTube channels, and a lot of them are good. So when there's new videos dropping that I haven't seen, or just videos that I run across haven't seen, however old it is, we're going to watch that together. It's going to be us. So like, comment, subscribe, do all of that good stuff. Share everything. And I'm back again with Lee. So, with that being said, I'm about to go into a whole nother video. But this time, we going to stay on the riches. Last video was the richest, what was it? Top 15 richest people
in the world,
on Earth or something like that. So this one is another. What you say?
Who lived on Earth?
Who lived on Earth. All right. So this one is another richest video, and this one is the 10 most heavily protected places on Earth. We're gonna see what's going on with this one. I see the thumbnail. I've seen that building before. I think it's in like I think it's in like Antarctica or something. Either Antarctica or something by the North Pole and all that. It's one of those places. It's I want to say Antarctica though, to be exact. I'm not sure, but I've seen that building. So I don't know what it is, but I've seen it somewhere. So we're gonna see what's up with it. The 10 most heavily protected places on Earth. You got your drink? Go get your drink. Wait, what just happened? Oh wow, I done messed up.
Would you like to know why?
Oh, here it is. So, 10 most heavily protected places on Earth. Let's go. I'll go over here and flame up my shit first.
Bet it up. YouTube. We in the groove.
We all have secrets, but these secrets are a little bigger than most. How do we know this? You wouldn't equip a building with the most complex security systems if what you were hiding wasn't important. Stay tuned to see what exists in these highly classified locations, including the most sought-after recipe in the world. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to The Richest so we can bring you recipes that are impossible to enter.
The Krabby Patty recipe.
Here are the most heavily protected places in the world.
Why that security guard look like a meme though? Look like one of those snitching memes. Look like dude.
Becky.
Or the dude with the glasses that was like that.
Becky.
You may have heard about this first location since a very idealistic and now deceased 26-year-old put the island and its inhabitants on the world stage. In November 2018, John Allen Cho, a Christian missionary, met his end on North Sentinel Island, a 5-mile stretch of land.
Oh, that's outside of India.
North Sentinel Island is home to the Sentinel.
Yeah, Sentinelese. Yeah, I heard about them. They cannibals too. Anybody that come over there,
shot arrows, all that shit.
I think the country of India made it illegal for people to even go over there now. They even try to modernize them. I think that's the right word.
They're not going though. They're not folding.
That's like the only set of people that we know that's not, was it modernized? If I say that the right way, that is crazy.
I heard they were shooting arrows, all type of shit at his ass. So anybody who comes into, however length it is of their island, shit, you finna get your ass shot up.
Yeah, and he was 26. He was 26 in 2018. Shit, we the same age.
He said he was a Christian missionary. So I wonder what he was doing.
Yeah.
He thought it was
sweet. A tribe of people that have been separated from the outside world for thousands of years and have rejected all attempts at contact by civilized man. This makes them one of the last uncontacted peoples. Since 1956, contacted people have mostly respected the Sentinelese's wish to be left alone. The Indian government put the island's sovereignty into law and made it illegal for anyone to travel to the island. This doesn't just mean that you can't set foot on North Sentinel Island. You have to stay at least 5 miles away. The Indian Navy patrols the area around the island and prosecutes violators. If this isn't enough of a deterrent, the Sentinelese have...
That's respect. And that's something that I don't think America would do.
come through and take over.
Yeah, they're trying to take it. But that's respect right there. Respect to India.
Very few exceptions reacted violently to outsiders, no matter how benevolent their intentions were. This brings us back to John Allen Cho, who bribed local fishermen to take him to the Forbidden Island in order to preach the gospel to some of the only people on the planet that have never heard of Jesus. A couple days later, the fishermen...
Wait, so you bribed
a dude to take you there?
You bribed somebody to take you there to spread the word of God.
He knew you was dying.
Isn't that bad already off jump? You bribing them to go preach the gospel?
At the same
like,
time,
fuck?
he knew you was dying because he just said,
his
fuck
body on the shore.
He ain't give you no warning.
Sentinel Island is so protected that the government will not retrieve the body and will not try any of the islanders for murder. Instead, authorities arrested several people in connection with Cho for helping him get to the island. The lesson here is, don't mess with the Sentinelese. Also, don't mess with the government, especially when it comes to its gold. Our next location is the Federal Reserve Bank in New York City.
Yep.
Before we start this one,
in New York,
one R.I.P. to Buddy, R.I.P. to him.
Yeah, true.
And I feel sorry for his family because they can't even pick him up.
Yeah.
Like, it's over with. They can't even pick him up. They can't even give him proper bills. Like, that's crazy.
Which contains a vault that is filled with 6,000 plus tons of gold bars belonging to the U.S. government, foreign governments, other banks, and international organizations. The vault is carved into the bedrock of Manhattan Island, 80 feet below the bank, and 50 feet below sea level. The vault is only accessible by elevator, and of course, the elevator is only accessible to select personnel who have the passwords and keys that unlock the complex security system. But the best defense against breaches is the 9-foot tall,
like
90 tons...
some Money Heist stuff. If y'all never seen Money Heist on Netflix.
Oh, that's a show, right? I've seen the little picture. I ain't never really watched it.
I'm not going to go too in depth into the new season that just came out, but this sounds just like the Money Heist show. You feel me? The stuff they was robbing was underneath water. You feel me? No, the stuff they was robbing was underground, but if you try to touch anything in there, it'll fill up with water and drown whoever is in there trying to steal it and stuff. More of the story is, it just reminded me of that. Right, so if y'all ever watch
type shit.
So if you ever watch Money Heist on Netflix, or if you haven't gotten a chance to, go watch that for real. That's some good shit. Back to the video though.
Steel door blocking the vault's only entrance. The door is contained within a 140-pound steel and concrete frame that is airtight and watertight. When the door shuts, a time clock ensures that it can't be opened until the next business day. In regards to the vault's interior, the walls are built out of steel and concrete, and cameras monitor the area 24/7. The cameras are watched at all times, and security patrols the area outside of the vault. This isn't any old security service, however, but a police force. Yes, the Federal Reserve has its very own cops who are trained in armed and hand-to-hand combat. Unlike the previous two places which protect people and gold, the next location protects art. In 1940, an 18-year-old boy was walking near the village of Montignac, France, when his dog fell in a hole. He later returned with 3 friends and climbed 49 feet down the hole until they reached a cavern that contained one of the biggest collections of cave paintings ever discovered. Later named Lascaux, the cave has 600 paintings that date back 18,000 years. These paintings are comprised of 6,000 figures, many of which are animals. Deer, bison, horses, cows, and bulls make up most of the animal species, but there are also cats, a bear, a rhinoceros, and a bird. Humans are also depicted, as well as geometric shapes and abstract figures. The Lascaux cave opened to the public in 1948 and became a popular attraction, boasting up to 2,000 visitors a day. However, it closed 15 years later after humans had ravaged the historical marble. This wasn't done intentionally. In fact, it was the microbes, humidity, and heat that the humans brought with them that began to destroy the paintings. Mold and crystals appeared in the 1950s, and since then, scientists have been fighting a never-ending war against pigment-devouring organisms. The first defense was getting people as far away from Lascaux as possible. At first, only a few people were selected to tour the caves every week, but blight forced this practice to end. So a replica cave was built near to the site to whet the appetites of the hundreds of thousands of visitors that came to Lascaux every year. The real cave is protected by steel doors and security cameras. As for the cave interior, an elaborate system regulating temperature, humidity, and airflow was installed. And maintenance people spot clean whatever intruder gets past the sensors. However, the human presence in the cave is limited to 800 hours a year to preserve air quality. Besides maintenance workers, only researchers are allowed in. You know we couldn't get through this video without mentioning North Korea. One of the most secretive locations in one of the most secretive countries is the headquarters of Room 39. Room 39 is not a place. It's the name of a covert organization that was allegedly formed in an office numbered 39 in the Finance and Accounting Department of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea. The organization is said to be located in the Workers' Party building in Pyongyang, the capital of North Korea, which is itself located in the same heavily guarded area where many high-ranking government officials live.
Nice house.
Room 39 needs to be highly secure, since the organization is responsible for generating as much as $2 billion for the North Korean government.
I think I heard the Korean borders, the North and South Korean border. That's one of the most, if not the most, protected border in the world.
Yeah, because they can't even cross into each other's. They can't really cross into each other's land.
Like, gee, you can't cross into South Korea without damn near getting
shot.
South
Korea don't like North Korea. North Korea don't like South Korea.
Yeah.
And one, I forgot. Hold on, which one is it? South Korea. Right. It's the freer state. Basically.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the K-pop and all of that. South Korea. Mm-hmm. That's how we know about that. Yeah. That's a South Korean thing.
North Korea is obviously.
North Korea. Yeah.
Unfortunately, their methods are probably crossing the law. Room 39 is like North Korea's Area 51, if you take away the aliens and add Martian-sized dictators. Founded by Kim Il-sung and inherited by his son and now his grandson, Room 39 is said to be responsible for everything from producing counterfeit money to illicit substances to committing insurance fraud. However, Room 39's secrets are so protected that most of this info has not been substantiated in any concrete way. The next location is not fixed to the ground, but it's still one of the most protected places on Earth. We're talking about Air Force One, the President of the United States private jet.
Fun fact about Air Force One that I found out, that technically speaking, any plane that the President is on is Air Force One.
Okay.
Any plane he's on. Yeah. Now, he has his own plane. But if he got on a Southwest flight somewhere for some odd-ass reason, that plane is Air Force One for the moment. Yes.
Yeah, that was in that movie that one time.
What movie?
That, what's the name movie? What was the name of that movie? What was the name of that movie? I want to say, was it, no, not White House Down. It was some movie, though.
Angels
Fall? But basically, they had to put the president on another plane, obviously, to get out of town. Right? Then, Independence Day. I said, that's what
that was Independence Day?
Yeah, remember he had to get on a whole, like, another plane that then they had to occupy that as Air Force One. I believe. Maybe it was that. I don't know. Maybe I got it messed up, but they had, his plane was fucked up. They had to put him on another plane, and they said, this is Air Force One right here. You know, like.
All right, let's go. Damn, controller.
Probably the most secure mobile location. Air Force One describes any of the planes currently or previously in the service of the president, many of which are Boeing models. While the full extent of Air Force One's security features is classified, a few of them are public knowledge. For one, it's shielded from both physical and electronic attacks. The shields can jam any enemy radar and eject flares to deflect heat-seeking missiles. Air Force One can also be refueled in the air. These planes are so secure that they're considered safer than the White House. During 9/11, George Bush spent 8 hours in Air Force One, escorted by F-16 fighter jets.
Of course.
When Air Force One isn't airborne, the planes are stored at Joint Base Andrews, a military facility located in Maryland. As you could guess, the facility is nearly as secure as the planes. thus making Air Force One's protection double layered. You will either be suspecting this next entry or be very surprised by it, since the thing that's being protected in this
about it
is a
I know what it is.
recipe, but it is the most
Coca-Cola.
famous recipe on Earth, and one that many people have tried to copy. We're talking about the formula for the original Coca-Cola,
So it's not the
which
Krabby
is
Patty.
held in a high-tech vault within Atlanta's World of Coca-Cola
Look at
Museum.
the
This
Krabby
formula
Patty
was
recipe, though.
concocted by John Pemberton in 1886, and the rights were sold by Pemberton's estate to businessman Asa Candler in 1891. Candler kept the formula a secret, and all subsequent owners followed his lead. In 1925, the formula was placed in a safe by SunTrust Banks Incorporated, where it stayed until 2007. That year, the formula was transferred from the bank to an elaborate vault in the newly built World of Coca-Cola Museum. The museum is open to the public, and visitors can learn all about the history of Coca-Cola and the secret formula, except for the formula itself. Only a few people have laid eyes on the original formula, and just as few people even know what's on the list. Even executives
Let's
and
just say
workers that
cinnamon oil?
manufacture Coca-Cola
Never
are
heard
not
of that
allowed to
before.
know the recipe. The
I didn't know there
ingredients
was
come
cinnamon
into the
oil.
factories unlisted to preserve the secret. Many people have claimed to know the formula, and some have released it for the whole world to see. Coca-Cola representatives have denied the veracity of each whistle-blown recipe. However, they
Or they
haven't
just
kept
saying it.
every
Right, that's what I was
ingredient
saying. What if it
secret.
is the
Thanks to
recipe,
promotional
though?
campaigns and FDA regulations,
Like, they just so big,
we know
but it's
the
like,
drink contains
can't
nutmeg
copy it at
oil,
this point.
lime
It's
juice,
like, yeah, it's
cocoa,
Coca-Cola.
vanilla extract, and caffeine.
So,
But if you want to know the it factor, the ingredient that makes Coca-Cola taste like no other drink,
Coke.
you'll have to break into the vault. Good luck. Don't talk out loud
They
if
used to
you're in
put
the
Coke in it.
vicinity of
Actually,
Menwith
Coke.
Hill
They
in
used to put
North
Coke in it at one
Yorkshire,
point.
England. This Royal Air Force base that is jointly operated by the United Kingdom and the United States is considered the largest electronic monitoring station in the world. It was built in 1954 to intercept Soviet messages during the Cold War, and it is now used to monitor the rest of the world's miscreants, from terrorists to narcotics dealers to possibly every one of us. Menwith Hill is comprised of 33 randoms, the name for satellite dishes enclosed in a white frame, which look
so
like
that's what
giant
that
golf
shit is.
balls. It also spans 545 square acres. Nobody besides employees of the two countries' surveillance organization are allowed on the premises. And since this is a military base, intruders are facing not only a complex security system, but people trained to eliminate threats of national security by any means necessary. For all these reasons and more, personnel at Menwith Hill have come under fire for participating in the unethical collection of people's information. The debate became very heated after the Edward Snowden leaks, which revealed that the National Security Agency was spying on private citizens. So Menwith Hill has been accused of the same thing. Our last location is an oldie but a goodie. No list featuring the world's most protected places would be complete without it. We're talking, of course, about Chernobyl. For those of you who don't know, Chernobyl was a nuclear power plant that exploded in 1986, releasing a dangerous dose of
I heard about
radiation that
Chernobyl.
covered the whole area. If you're up to date on your chemistry, you'd be aware that radiation takes a long time to dissipate. We're talking thousands of years. Thus, the area surrounding the remains of the
Yeah, it's
malfunctioning
completely
reactor, which include the abandoned city of Pripyat, Ukraine, and 1,000 square miles of land, is blanketed with radiation that will not be at a level safe enough for human habitation for 200,000 years. This area is called the exclusion zone, where all
We gone.
residents were evacuated in 1986. This
Uh-huh.
comprises 116,000 people, many of which passed away as a result of exposure. That's the thing about radiation. It may not annihilate you right away, but it plants a ticking time bomb that could take you out in the future. Thus, the zone was blocked off from the public and remains that way to this day. However, the Ukrainian government has been a little more lenient in recent years
you
about
can't
letting
work
people
on that
in
site.
who want to
Nothing.
explore the
Nothing.
area.
That was a
There
bad
are even
accident. That
guided
was a
tours
horrible
available,
accident.
but tourists must have the appropriate permits and must be wearing the appropriate suits,
Yep.
and must not stay in the zone any longer than the designated time. They also must be checked for lingering
Yeah, 10
radiation
minutes
before they
early.
leave
Fuck
the
that shit.
area. Even some stubborn residents have been allowed to move back into the zone, despite it being an area that time forgot, since it's overrun by plants and animals. If you like nature and radiation, then this is the place for
They
you.
allowed them to
That's
move
all
in.
for the most heavily protected places in the world. Do you know of any
They didn't even put the
locations that
building
you
I was on the
missed?
thumbnail
Let
on
us
there.
know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.
The fuck? I call clickbait.
Clickbait.
Yeah, they didn't even put the video on it. They didn't even show it. anyway, that was that video. There's gonna be more coming.
That was a nice video.
More coming. Thanks for stopping by for this one. We're gonna come back for a next one. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video, all the above. And hey, that'll be great. I appreciate that. So that's it. I'm out. Peace.
Yeah. Roll the blunt out. Yeah, and we gon' smoke until the sun up. Yeah. Roll the blunt out. Yeah, and we gon' smoke until the sun up.